Hello everybody and welcome back to another one of those videos where I talk about updates on Dwarf Fortress coming from Toady1 and KitFox. We have some footage of the upcoming Siege update. Alongside of this footage releasing, there's also a small patch for the main game. But I think that this should be the focus of the video. Back on the 17th of September, Tarn posted a blog post as well, which I will be using to flesh out some of the details shown here. Bearing in mind that this is less than 30 seconds of footage, they show something right off the bat here that I think a lot of people are going to miss on a first viewing. Look at how the enemies are entering the map. Previously, the way they would work is they would all kind of pop in rows all at once. Now they appear to be arriving in squads, with a squad commander, in separate groups. My suspicion here comes from Tarn's blog post, where he states that sieging armies can now bring skilled units and units with improved equipment, and the commander is also highlighted in the pop-up message. Which to me presumably means that these squads are going to move as little individual groups instead of just one big blob, as they have historically. The next thing that's very clear here that I would like to point out is these trolls. As you can see, they're all carrying backpacks, which I think look kind of adorable. They also have weapons in their hands. These appear to be some sort of digging material, and of course, probably also a bludgeoning weapon. Just from a mechanical sense, it's also interesting to see the different bricks that they have in their backpacks. I wonder if this is going to be a way to get rarer materials that you may or may not have access to. Perhaps you can't find a certain type of stone, so you tempt the goblins into attacking you to bring you more, I don't know, olivine. Or microcline, as that appears to be. The next note from Tarn's blog post on the 17th states that trolls and larger siege engineers can build floors and stairs with blocks. This allows them to move through open air slowly and vulnerably. Tarn also adds that they have been given the ability to build floors under the airspace occupied by raised bridge buildings. Siegers require picks to dig, and do it slowly, and try other means first. He also mentions that trolls and ogres have been given a new Great Pick item to improve their digging. However, they will still dig significantly slower than a dwarf, which honestly makes a lot of sense. Now, to elaborate on a few other things that Tarn mentions, the siegers are not going to be invulnerable to traps. They're still going to run into them. However, they're going to do their best to avoid them once their initial friends hit them. And then, I guess, once they run out of options and realize that the way is shut, if you will, they will start trying to find alternative means, i.e. digging around your defenses or building towards your defenses. And while I'm pretty confident we'll figure out ways to game these new systems, I do hope that the result is that the enemies feel smarter for the most part, and do a better job of actually assaulting your fortress and making it a challenge, without just simply making it a, oh god, they're here again to dig in the garden situation. But as you already saw at the very beginning, there's also going to be new means of us defending our fortresses. Now this is all new stuff. This isn't reworks of older items. So let's take a look at this. Now these are not ballistas. These appear to be those repeating bolt launchers that Tarn mentioned in an interview that he did with me a couple of months ago, which appear to be using normal bolts and are being loaded by normal citizen dwarves. I don't think these are military dwarves, considering one of them runs away screaming as soon as the enemy appears on screen. However, these dwarves do also appear to be quite consistent about standing in their assigned locations, at the very least until they run out of ammunition. One of my major hurdles with the current siege engines is that the second a dwarf sees a goblin or something evil approaching them, they turn around, hightail it, and run. And while I'm okay with them doing that when they run out of ammunition, I want them to be able to get back to the actual location where the siege engine is stationed. So as an example, if the enemy is already too close and another dwarf comes to take that post, I don't want to see them panic and run away. Now, we do see another dwarf arrive and take over this dwarf's post moments after they sprint off, but that is between cuts. So here's hoping that won't be an issue in-game. And now, aside from that, that's pretty much all of the footage. That's what we've been given. And, of course, it ends with the splash screen coming soon with the beautiful new art. I do have to state, I really like this new art. It does show battering rams, so hopefully we'll see something along those lines sooner than later. And I'm very curious to see how much of this is embellishment and how much of this is stuff that we'll see. I mean, we do know that the goblins will be able to do some sort of digging and some sort of construction, and there appears to be a little kind of palisade off there in the back, and they do appear to be holding formation. The siege that we see in this video doesn't appear to be big enough to really have anything too dramatic going on. In Tarn's blog post, he states that siege work continues through this month and onward, and now we're seeing some footage of it, so clearly work is getting done. My biggest concern when it comes to the remakes of the siege engines and the additional siege engines that we are seeing here is, are the dwarves going to run away in fear, and will they be able to get back to them? I would like to see that confirmed in some way, shape, or form. And the second concern is, just how powerful is the goblins digging going to be? If we were to see anything in the next piece of footage here, I would like to see what the goblins are capable of doing. I would like to see an undefended fortress in some footage like this, and I would like to see the goblins break in. I'm curious to see exactly how the goblins will break into your fortress, and exactly what kind of things we're going to have to build around. Are they capable of digging through dirt, or are they just going to dig so slowly that, well, you just run out and fight them at that point? And there is one other thing I would like to mention about this upcoming release that I don't think we've heard anything about. In the current game, there is a mechanic around sieges. It allows the enemy to ask you for a parley when they arrive to attack you, and most sieges will do this. Generally, they ask for one of your artifacts, and then you have the option to say yes or no. If you say yes, your mayor gives them the artifact. If you say no, they proceed to attack you. I've been so well trained now to just say no every single time they ask that the mechanic might as well not exist. I would like to see this mechanic either have some sort of rework or maybe have a little bit more impact. As an example, perhaps they show up and ask for parley, but they want 5 children. Some players might think that's a good deal. However, if you try and take my prized warhammer, I will literally cut your nose off. Maybe if you reject too many of the parleys, the goblins stop asking. And maybe if you accept enough of them, they will send smaller sieges next time and simply ask for a parley instead of fighting. I want there to be a meaningful reason for this mechanic to exist other than simply delaying the siege by 3 months and giving me time to prepare. But regardless, this is some exciting news to see, and I'm curious to see where it all goes. But for me, that about does it. I'm curious, what do you think of this footage? What do you think of the siege update? Are you looking forward to it? Are you playing the game in anticipation, or are you taking a break? Besides that, what other games have you been playing recently? I'm currently working on a large project which is taking some time to get finished, as always. If you're interested in seeing a preview of that, they are available on my blog. However, you do have to sign up at one of my supporter tiers. This is a crowdfunded channel, and you won't see any sponsored advertisements outside of please buy my mugs. And with that, I say thank you very much for watching, take care of yourselves, and maybe I'll see you in one of my live streams, or in the next one.